Well, despite the Trump administration working to close several loopholes in the Paycheck Protection Program for small businesses, experts say there is a possibility some businesses will not come back from the pandemic. We already know that, and we could see a wave of bankruptcies over the next few months. So Javi is going to talk with a financial expert to get a better perspective on this.
Yeah, Scott, and it's so heartbreaking to see, especially for those small businesses out there. Well, experts predict it's going to take a long time for the economy to recover from this pandemic, but in an attempt to try and help, Congress just added another $310 billion into the Paycheck Protection Program. But is it enough to prevent businesses from closing? So we're joined right now by CPA and author Tom Wheelwright. And Tom, that addition to the PPP opened up Monday, and it already started off with some huge stumbles, didn't it?
Well, it did. A lot of small businesses are still struggling to get their loans in. A lot of small businesses are struggling to compete with the larger franchises. So it's still a struggle. People are still waiting on money. Hopefully it's going to come soon, because there are businesses that really need this to be able to keep their doors open.
Let's take a step back, and if they don't get that funding, or if it's just not enough at this point, because let's be honest, here in the state of Arizona, some of these businesses have been closed for 4 weeks plus. What is the landscape going to look like moving forward?
Well, you know what businesses are going to have to do is not count on this money. They're going to have to figure out ways to make money in other ways than their normal operating. So people are now, they're shipping, they're doing Skype calls. I mean, we're doing our business, for example, my CPA firm, we're doing our business from our home offices. We're using video conferencing. So I think businesses are really going to have to adjust and recognize that they may not get this funding that they're looking for.
When you look at the businesses overall, once we start seeing some bankruptcies, which are not far behind, that's really going to change what the outlook on the economy overall.
Well, there's no question. I mean, there are some businesses that just aren't going to be able to recover, that it's just hit them too hard. They didn't respond quick enough. They didn't make adjustments quick enough, and they're going to be out of business. And that happens when you have a recession, or what we may find to be a depression going on.
What about from a business standpoint, this money that they're getting from a tax perspective? What does that mean for them?
Well, so that's good news. At least from the federal standpoint, that is not taxable income to them. So they're able to get that money, not be taxed on it federally. We don't know in Arizona yet whether that's going to be taxed. That's going to be a matter for the legislature.
And speaking of, that's why a lot of businesses reached out. I mean, it's essentially free money. And so not knowing what was going to happen with this pandemic, that's why a lot of bigger businesses tried to get that funding as well.
Well, there's no question. I mean, to think that there's a business that hasn't been affected by this pandemic, it's, every business has been affected. Even those that have done okay during this business, like the Costco's and the Targets, they've still been affected by this business. So, yeah, everybody is trying to do whatever they can to have the cash available to them in case this goes on longer than we expect, in case it gets much worse than we expect.
All right, great insight. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. And to those small businesses out there, hang on.